Hi, welcome back to the podcast, Life Under the Moon. I am your host, Samy Bee, and today we are celebrating the new moon and the last lunation of the 2025 year in Sagittarius, which is all about embracing change. Sagittarius is my moon sign, so I'm pretty excited about this. And funny thing is, I'm actually really nervous to record this episode for you guys because it's the last one of the year. And I don't know, I guess the theme is embrace change, and it's a big change. It's about changing the podcast. It's about going into a new year, and I do have big plans for next year and how I want to potentially change up the podcast and do it a little bit differently, but I guess we'll see going into the new year. But you guys will have to let me know what you think. I do have some plans up my sleeves that I am excited to share with you about, but we're not gonna get into that today because that is a next year sort of thing. So it's just weird. It's so weird that I'm so nervous and I want to be so real with you guys because this is our podcast. This is our time together. And in today's podcast, I've been waiting to record this podcast for a very long time. And even though I've recently been going and growing through so many magnificent changes, and I just feel more spiritually aligned with myself than I ever have in my entire life. I am so proud of how far I've come, and creating these podcasts for you have been my footsteps in my personal and spiritual development, and to share it with you is a life dream because I believe that I'm here to make the world a better place, and I know that I can do that by sharing my experiences and opinions and the lessons I've learned, and to help others as well. And I learn from others when they share their experiences. Something I did recently learn is the best way to communicate is when you are completely authentic. So this is me being completely authentic with you. So I've been kind of putting off recording the last episode because I wanted it to feel right. And there has been a lot of that I've been learning, but none of it felt like this is what I'm going to record for my last podcast. But just now I was inspired to have this topic, and I'm really surprised that it is this topic, but I just felt that intuition feeling saying this is the last podcast of 2025. This is the topic. Let's dive right in. You might think it's not important is the word I'm going for, but it's incredibly important, especially in the age of Aquarius and the enlightenment and advancement of technology. And the topic is reviews. As someone who owns her own business, I look at writing reviews in a totally, completely different light than I used to. I have been like a Google member, like, you know how you have a Google account and then you can review things on Google? Like if you go to a restaurant, you can post a review, you can post pictures, you can answer questions about the place. I have been a Google member for a very long time. And I want to say I regret to admit, but I don't, because it just means that I've grown, is in the past I had no problem giving a restaurant a 1-star review if I had bad service. Now that I run my own business, I can see from an owner's perspective of how shitty people can be. There's always two sides to the story. For example, I have bent over backwards for certain clients and worked weekends and worked overtime and did the absolute 10 out of 10 best work that I could possibly do on a project. And those people, there are some people who would still give a 1-star review just because they feel like it wasn't good enough, even though in my perspective, it was more than good enough. And something that has come to my attention lately as well, which is why I feel like this is the right topic to discuss today with you guys, is that somebody said to me, it was something along the lines of, people could have a 5-star experience multiple times, but as soon as they have a bad experience, that's all they talk about. And that really made me think deeply. So the person I was talking to works in a mechanic shop, and people get their tires changed, oils changed, vehicles worked on all the time. And, things are great. Nothing goes wrong. The mechanic fixes the problem. The mechanic diagnoses it perfectly. Everything's good, blah, blah, blah. There's no praise. There's no thank you. There's no nothing. But then when something goes wrong, for example, like maybe the mechanic misdiagnoses something, or maybe something went wrong, or the part was more expensive, or the part got delayed, or the wrong part got sent in, or you know how things go. Life isn't perfect. Life is perfectly imperfect, actually. Yeah, that's where you hear about it. That's where you hear the 1-star review. This mechanic shop sucks. Well, what about the 10 good times that you went there? I was actually, what inspired this podcast was that I was called to actually go onto the Cactus Club website. It's like one of my favorite restaurants. And I was compelled to look at the reviews. And I was surprised that it didn't have a 5-star review. So I went onto Google and filtered to the lowest reviews, because I was super curious as to why someone would give this a low rating. So the first 1-star review was saying that they used to go to this restaurant many times. They loved it. They've always had good service. However, they went there for their birthday. They got poor service. It was really loud in there. Their food was served before their drinks. The waiter was super slow. 1-star review. And even in the description, it says food, 4 out of 5. Noise, 1 out of 5. Service, 2 out of 5. How is that a 1-star review? And not only that, but all of the maybe 3, 4, 5 times that you've been there where you would have said it's a 5-star review is a 1-star because of one day, one incident. I get it. It was your birthday. You expected to be treated like royalty, as you should be celebrated. But 1-star review for one mistake? Come on, guys. We need to give people the benefit of the doubt. Someone could have been having the worst day of their life. And I know that was a reaction of an anger that was building up inside that person. And I know that they probably don't think that the Cactus Club Cafe is a 1-star restaurant. I'm sure they don't genuinely believe it, but I know that they were so angry and disappointed in that moment, that 1-star review, and that made them feel good. It made them feel like they had power. But let me tell you something. From a business owner's view, I think that is incredibly disrespectful. It is incredibly rude. And it shows the type of person that customer is. Now, I think that most people read reviews and don't look that deeply into it. So most people, I think, would read that review and go, oh, wow, that place might not be the best option to go out to dinner with my partner. But I look a lot deeper into this kind of stuff. I hope you can see where I'm coming from. My point of view is that, the Cactus Club Cafe is a massive chain. They are very well off, I must say. And this type of review most likely would not impact their finances or reputation even in the slightest. However, as a small business owner, such as myself, a review like that could be quite damaging. And you tell me, from your point of view, if somebody had the same experience with me, with my business, and had great experiences and then one bad experience because maybe I was having an off week because something was going on in my life and I didn't get the plans done in time, or maybe I made a small mistake on the plans. And does that really deserve a 1-star review? Or can we not give people a benefit of the doubt? Now, I'm not saying that you're not allowed to give your honest feedback or even give 1 or 2-star reviews. I'm not saying that you can't do that. But now that I am a business owner, I don't give 1-star reviews unless the business I have given that business my absolute full attention and a chance to show me that they are a 1-star business. So for example, I would rate a business 1 star if I continuously went there, let's say 5 times in total. Okay, so say we're going to a hardware store and there's no parking and the workers are incredibly rude, all of them, and everything is messy and nothing's on the shelves, and I ask for help and no one knows how to help me. Okay, that's one experience. And I go back and say the same thing and the floor is wet and no one's mopped it and I slipped on it and I hurt myself. And I was treated with disrespect. Maybe I was yelled at, or you know what I mean? I guess without going too crazy deep into this, I would want to give a store an honest chance. And if I did that, if I went back to that same store about 5 times and the same things were happening where I feel like it was just not a good experience in general for not just my expectations, because everyone has different expectations, but for the general population, is this acceptable? And if the answer is yes, great. And if the answer is no, great. There's no right or wrong answer. That's the point of a review. It's perspective. However, I really do think that as a society, we need to be more careful with how we use our words and how we rate a business, because you don't know what's going on the other side. And I do understand that frustration can be very frustrating, especially when you do have a bad experience. But what about all the good ones? And that's kind of what we do in real life. Everything, we could have a great day, everything's great, everything's fine, everything's fun, and then as soon as we have a bad day, that's all we can focus on, right? Or driving in traffic. Everyone's driving great, everyone's fine, nothing happened, and one bad driver, and that ruins your whole experience on the way to work or on the way home, right? But what about all the good drivers? You know? And I just feel like we need to really try a little bit harder as a human being to be just a little bit better. I really hope that this podcast resonated with you in some way. I know that, like I admitted, I used to be someone who would give 1-star reviews. I don't do that anymore. If I have a bad experience at a store, I actually refrain from reviewing it until I give it a second chance. And that's the least that business deserves. Okay? So if you're someone who's listening to this podcast and maybe you were like me, who has no problem throwing out that 1 or 2-star rating because of one bad experience, but what about all the good ones? I want you to think about that. And I want you to be respectful with your words and your tone and the way you choose to present your energy. Because it's not just reflecting on the business, it's also a reflection of yourself, your soul, and who you are. And that's something that we all carry with us. And it's something that we all should work on, because that's why we're here. It's to grow. So my advice to you is, when you have a bad experience somewhere and you want to pull out your phone and give them that 1-star rating, I ask you to please wait until you cool down and wait until you give them a second chance. And if you truly believe in your heart that that business or that place or person or whatever does not deserve a second chance, which in some cases is true, then at least wait till you cool down before you write that review. But if they do deserve a second chance, and in most cases, people and businesses do, wait until you give them a second chance, and then you can write that review. And I guarantee you, you might even just not bother. So with me, I don't usually write reviews unless they're a 5-star. That's kind of my new philosophy. If a business is that good, I will write a 5-star review. And if it is mediocre, I probably won't write a review. And if a business is really, 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 really bad, which to be honest with you, I haven't experienced that because, like I said, you got to give them a couple tries. And I've never personally experienced a business that was so terrible that I went, for example, 6 times, and all 6 times, in my opinion, were a 1-star rating. That's never happened because there's good days and there's bad days. So I think you get what I'm saying and you're following what my point is. And I want you, if you're listening to this point, I always say if you're listening, like it blows my mind that people are actually listening to my voice. I do believe that I have wise words and wisdom to share with the world, and it means so very much to me that you are here and listening and learning with me, because I'm learning right beside with you, hand in hand, learning how to navigate life with no experience. We're just dropped here on planet Earth, and it's like, go figure out who you really are. And I hope that this was able to change something in you, because it definitely changed something in me. And I've actually had a comment on one of my podcasts by one of you listeners saying that I gave you a second way to think about something and you were going to ponder it. And I never forgot that, because I recognized that my voice made a difference. And that was life-changing, because I feel like I can make a difference. And even though I'm not being monetized on YouTube, or my podcasts aren't at all being monetized, and I'm realistically just doing this all for free for the good of mankind and humanity, it means so much to me that I can actually still gain something from this, which is seeing a difference in the world. Because a quote that I recently discovered a couple days ago was, financial wealth is not the most important wealth. And that's something that we should all ponder on as we go into the new year of 2026. I'm going to say that again. Financial wealth is not the most important wealth. So you decide what that wealth is that important to you. Is it health wealth? Is it spiritual wealth? Is it wisdom wealth? What is it? Is it abundance wealth? It could be anything. It could be wellness. It could be family and relationship wealth. It's what it is it's an abundance of something that truly makes you feel like just pure love and joy. That is the true definition of wealth, something that makes you feel complete and whole. Wealth is not just financial, which most of us think. It's so much more than that. And I'm telling you right now that financial wealth is not the most important. Because when you buy something, when you purchase something with money, it's not about the money itself. It's not like we celebrate having these coins or these papers. It's not about that. It's about what those coins and papers get you. Whether it's power to your house, or if it's a nice warm jacket on the cold winter days, or a vehicle to get you from work to home, or a date night with you and your spouse, or a trip to the beach, or a toy, or a phone. And what those things bring you is what financial wealth is about. It's not about the money itself. It's about what the money brings to you. Does the money bring you freedom? Does the money bring you happiness? Does the money bring you love? Does the money bring you joy? That is what I mean about financial wealth is not the most important wealth, because it's not about how much money you have. It's what that money gets you. Relationships, happiness, freedom. And that's what you decide. And I just want to say, for those of you who have stuck with my podcast since the beginning, or if you're new, or if this is your first one, I want to say thank you with my whole entire heart. It means the world to me that you're here and that you are making a difference in this world, even simply by listening to this podcast, because I am incredibly passionate about making this world a better place. And by you listening, that means you want to make this world a better place, and you are making this world a better place by choosing to spend your time on something that you know will help you grow and the growth of mankind. And that is something to celebrate. I want to celebrate you as an individual, sending you all of my love in my whole heart. I want to say thank you. I love you, and I am so excited to show you what I have store in 2026. It is going to be a fantastic year, and if you're going through a hard time, just know that that is a gift. The gift is always hidden in the hard times, but I promise you that things will always get better. I promise you, from someone who's been through much pain, I promise you that things will always get brighter. I manifest for you all, individually and together as a soul family, to have a wonderful transition and closing of 2025. Review the memories, the lessons, the adventures, the hopes, dreams, and wishes, the accomplishments, the celebrations that you've achieved in 2025, and what to look forward to in 2026. What are some intentions, dreams, wants, needs that your soul is crying for? I know I have a few on my list, and it is my destiny to fulfill what my soul truly wants, as it is yours. So let's go manifest our dreams with our life under the moon.